Please make your way to your seats. We're about to begin. I'm Allison MacDonald. I'm your MC today, and I'm the Vice Principal of Teaching and Learning here at BC High. Please bear with us for some logistical details before we begin our graduation. First, we know how important it is for you to get great photographs of your boys as they graduate today. Professional photographers are here to do the work of capturing them as they receive their diplomas. A link to the photographs will be available on the BC High graduation website next week. We would ask that you not move seats or block aisles to take photographs during the ceremony. Next, if you need to use the restroom, there are facilities here in our newly constructed Murphy Family Stadium or inside the Walsh building behind me. If you are not feeling well and you need a nurse, please note the nursing station to your left. We also have water available for you. With that, we are on to the main event. If people who are still coming in could please go around the back, our graduates and faculty and staff are about to enter. We need you to go around the back to find your seats because the faculty and staff will be coming in now. We now ask that everyone who is able, please stand for the processional.
For Boston, we sing our proud refrain. For Boston, 'tis wisdom's earthly fame. For here all are one and our hearts are true, and the towers of the heights reach the heaven's own blue.
Welcome. We're so privileged to have you here at this, the 160th commencement of Boston College High School. We will begin our program today with the national anthem, sung by the concert choir, directed by Dr. Marina Rosenberg. At the conclusion, please remain standing for the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now, the Reverend Donald McMillan, S.J., Class of 60, BC High Alumni Chaplain, will lead us in prayer.
God of grace, we praise you for your glory, and we thank you for your goodness to us. As we gather on this auspicious occasion, we lift our hearts in gratitude for the journey that has brought these young men to this moment of accomplishment. We acknowledge your presence among us, guiding and sustaining us through every trial and triumph. We give thanks for the gift of education, for the knowledge gained, the friendships formed, and the wisdom imparted within these hallowed halls. May the lessons learned here extend far beyond the classroom, shaping these graduates into men of integrity, compassion, and faith. Grant them the courage to face challenges with resilience, the humility to seek guidance when needed, and the strength to pursue their dreams with unwavering determination. May they continue to work to build not just a community, but a just community. Fill their hearts with your love, that they may be beacons of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. As the eagles they are, may they soar high and lead people into the bright light of your love and glory, Lord. May they strive always to walk in the footsteps of your Son, Jesus Christ, embodying his teachings of love, mercy, and justice. As they step forth into the world, may they never forget the values instilled in them here, nor the community that has nurtured and supported them along the way. May they go forth with hearts ablaze with faith, minds filled with knowledge, and spirits ignited with a passion for justice and service. Bless their families, teachers, and all who have played a role in shaping their journey. And may your grace continue to accompany them in all their endeavors, now and forevermore. In the spirit of St. Ignatius of Loyola, may they go and set the world on fire. In the words of Father Anthony DeMello, a Jesuit spiritual director and author, extend your arms in welcome to the future. The best is yet to come. In your holy name, Lord, we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Father McMillan. Today, as we gather to honor the class of 2024, we want to take a moment to acknowledge a special person very dear to our hearts and to the hearts of our seniors. His name is John Brennan. When he was in 8th grade, John suffered a health emergency that nearly took him from us. It affected every part of his life, his speech, movement, everything. Everything that is but his spirit. Through his commitment to his own improvement, John taught us all a lesson in what it is to be a faithful, persevering, and true overcomer. While his long recovery precluded him from being part of the graduating class here today, we are so proud to recognize John Brennan as an honorary member of the class of 2024. John, please come to the stage to be recognized. Congratulations. And one by yourself, yeah. Thank you so much. As you may know, our faculty select our senior speakers for graduation events. Those are the students who have embodied academic excellence, but also have embraced the fullness of our mission here at BC High. As such, it is an honor to introduce to you today Ridge Noel Saint to welcome you for graduation. Ridge is a kind, caring, and talented young man. His path through BC High comprised a demanding course load, numerous extracurricular activities, and an unending commitment to honoring others. His service with the St. Louis Project and his time as captain of King House are emblematic of the way that he moves through the world, with graciousness, a bright smile, and a compassionate spirit. Following a shared experience this fall, Miss Winter so beautifully summarized Ridge's character, writing, "Ridge, your interactions with our homeless friends on the street were so generous and kind, but I was really struck by the way you engaged your fellow students. You did such a great job including the new participants and encouraging them to think about the experience. It was such a joy to witness your goodness." In King House, Ridge lit up the hallways of Cushing on a daily basis, greeting students as they arrived in the morning. In quiet moments over the course of the day, he could be found checking in with individuals about how a test or a game went, or asking about their plans for the weekend. Ridge's capacity for noticing and valuing the routine details of others' lives markedly improves our school community. Next year, Ridge will once again be an Eagle as he studies chemistry at Boston College. Please join me in welcoming Ridge Noel Saint. Welcome, Doug.
Good morning. My name is Ridge Marvin Noel Saint, and I stand here today to extend a warm welcome and thanks to everyone who was able to make it today. President Regan, Mr. Lewis, Governor Swift, Mrs. McDonald, to the faculty and staff, parents, siblings, guests, and most importantly, to the class of 2024. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge that this is a very special occasion. We're on the edge of adulthood and about to take the first step into our new lives. As such, I'm deeply honored to be able to stand here before you today and give this speech. This is also a bittersweet day because this is probably the last time we will all be gathered here as a class, and I know that the bonds that we've made these past 4 years are something that we wouldn't give up for anything else. As you reflect on your time here, I want to start by commending you for your ability to adapt. Since our first time going onto the green, getting our drone picture taken for orientation, we've had to adapt to various things. And it's not going to end here. Whether it's future job applications, whether it's orientations, parenthood, marriage, there are so many other welcomes that we will have to adapt to in the future. Next, I want to talk about the bonds we've built. I've said it before, but brotherhood really is at the core of BC High and our BC High community. The relationships we build are at the heart of belonging within our community, and I can't speak for everyone, but I am certain that I am so glad and grateful for the bonds that I've been able to build with everyone here. As members of this community, we are called to embrace our relationships, to foster a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. And I chose the word members to emphasize that no matter where you go or what the future holds for you, you will be a part of the BCI community and you will have a family here. While on the topic of relationships, I also want to take some time to thank the people who have shaped us into who we are today. The teachers, the administrators, coaches, parents. The list goes on. I want each of you to take a look at the people who are around you right now. You chose those people because you know without them, you wouldn't be the man you are today. As you look around at those people, I want to jog your memory about something from freshman year. It was known as magis, which in Latin it means more. When we're talking about our relationships, this means striving to deepen our connection with others, to support them in their future endeavors, and to create a community that is inclusive and welcoming. While I still have your attention, I wanted to bring up why I thought my speech being called the commencement welcome was pretty ironic. Graduation is meant to symbolize the end of our time at BC High, and yet a commencement welcome also implies a beginning, a new beginning. So, with the time I have left to speak to you, and with the time we have left as a class, I'm calling you to do one thing. I'm calling you to cherish every second of today. And so I once again give my congratulations to the class of 2024. Welcome to your last day as a BCI senior and to the beginning of your new lives. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Grace Cotter Regan, President of Boston College High School.
Good morning. To our parents, guardians, families, friends, faculty, staff, and alumni, welcome. In a special way, I'd also like to thank our commencement speaker, Governor Jane Swift, for being with us today. Thank you, Jane. We feel so blessed to have you on these hallowed grounds of BC High, and it is an honor to be with all of you to celebrate this special class of 2024. We're also very fortunate to have members of the class of 1974 represented here today as part of their 50th reunion celebration, a time-honored tradition that welcomes the newest graduates to the Brotherhood of BC High. We had a wonderful and lively event to celebrate the class of 1974 last evening. It allowed me to spend some time this week reading the 1974 yearbook entitled Renaissance, and it had a powerful impact on me. As you may know, Renaissance is a French word meaning rebirth. It refers to a period in European civilization that was marked by the revival of classical learning and wisdom. I would say that BC High is in a Renaissance period where we are looking at how we teach and learn with a new lens. Our archivist, Lance Hutchinson, class of '89, was able to find the graduation speech from their student speaker, Don Guiney. In his remarks, Don shares with the class, quote, "Now another election year will be shortly at hand. A new generation of young people will soon be called forth to take part in shaping of our political future. We are now that new generation. It is we who must reshape the moral rubble which the repolitic world of Watergate has created. It is we, the young people of America, to whom this monumental challenge has been given. We, as BC High graduates, should be uniquely prepared to meet this challenge. The Ignatian man is a balance between the contemplative and the active. He must intellectually perceive the problems of society that confront him and his own intrinsic part in the solution of those problems. And then he must involve himself in the crises that we face in our society." How appropriate is that speech today? So just as Don Guiney employed the class of 1974 to do 50 years ago, we encourage our students to do the same today. The challenge of our students is clear. It is their responsibility as graduates of BC High to go out and change the world, to serve those on the margins, and to act justly in a society that needs good people. Those are the bonds of brotherhood. Those are the ties that bind our alumni, a shared understanding that they have a unique responsibility because of the Jesuit formation they've received, even if it's 50 years apart. And at this time, I'd like to ask Bill Flanagan from the class of 1974 to join me on the stage. Bill is representing his classmates in receiving an honorary BC High diploma. He is among as his family is his nephew, Owen J., is celebrating with the class of 2024 today as well. The grand reunion efforts led by former board chair Joe Donahue have been remarkable. Last night, nearly 100 members of the class were on hand for a wonderful celebration of brotherhood and camaraderie. Thank you, Bill, for being here to represent the Jubilarians, and I'd ask your classmates to stand. Here we go. Thank you. All right, thank you. The Golden Jubilarians remind us of the importance of the Alumni Global Network of 15,000 strong and the contributions of those giants who walked with these men in our halls. We're so excited that he's here today, Bill, and the class of '74, and thank you for being here. As I think about the class of 2024 and the Golden Jubilarians, I'm reminded of the foresight of Father Peter Hans Kohlenbach, the 29th Superior of the Society of Jesus, as he delivered a speech at Santa Clara University at a conference in 2000, nestled in Silicon Valley. Kohlenbach recognized the tension between the mission and the microchip. He saw as the United States, our global community, and our Jesuit schools experience the fruits of ever greater technological advancements, we would face a struggle of conscience. He knew that progress for its own sake is not progress at all. Though 50 years separate the class of 2024 and 1974, it is your Jesuit formation that provides you with the foundation from which to navigate struggles of conscience. You are formed in the Ignatian tradition, whose heads, hearts, and hands have been forged with competence, conscience, and compassion. You are leaders who not only know the how, but also the why. Leaders who constantly reflect on not just whether innovation is possible, but where that innovation is needed and who it will serve. Class of 2024, for a large portion of your life, this campus has been your home, and this community your family. I pray that you always know these connections do not end today. The unbreakable bonds of brotherhood with your classmates and the bonds of love and respect you share with everyone gathered here will truly last a lifetime. Congratulations. Now it is my great pleasure to welcome our commencement speaker, Massachusetts Governor Jane Swift. Governor Swift was the youngest female to be elected to the state senate at the age of 25. She has served in leadership roles in the public, private, political, and nonprofit sectors for over 3 decades, fueled by a passionate belief in the power of education to transform lives. Serving as lieutenant governor and governor from 1999 to 2003, she oversaw many of the most controversial implementation items in the Education Reform Act and took pride in Massachusetts being named a national model by the United States Department of Education in 2003. Governor Swift currently serves as the president of Education at Work, the premier work-based learning nonprofit serving higher education in the country. A lot of words. And in 2023, in October, Governor Swift was appointed by Secretary Cardona to serve on the National Assessment Governing Board, the NAGB, as the National Governors Association's Republican designee. While her work on the national and global level is critical, it is ensuring educational excellence here on Morrissey Boulevard that she also plays a strategic partner as a member of the Shields Council for Innovation. We are honored to have Governor Swift as part of the BC High community and join us for this momentous occasion. Please welcome Governor Jane Swift.
Thank you, President Regan. To the trustees, to the clergy, faculty, and staff, family and parents, and most importantly, to the class of 2024. Thank you for having me as your commencement speaker today. It's hard, believe me, it is very hard for me to believe. I think there may be some gentlemen over here who share this sentiment. It's hard for me to believe that 40 years have passed since I was sitting at my high school graduation. It's even harder to believe that 5 years have slipped by since my twins graduated. All three of my girls also attended a Catholic high school. Theirs was in northern Vermont. Each year, our beloved principal, Father Bernie, would tell all of us parents at the freshman orientation, sit down and buckle your seatbelt. These next 4 years are going to fly by, and before you can blink, you're going to be sitting at graduation. Like so many other things that priests have told me throughout my life, he was right. Raising children, to me, can often feel like a political campaign. Some of the longest days and nights of your life, and then those days and months fly by in an instant. Now, as your speaker today, I hope this will also fly by as an instant. I know my place. It's not to bore you with a long, serious speech. My place is to say something interesting, funny, and most importantly, brief. And I knew that before we woke up to this weather. I'll see if I can hit that trifecta. My favorite Bible verse, okay, we're not gonna start out funny. My favorite Bible verse is, I think, particularly appropriate for where graduates and those who love you are sitting today. It's Romans 8, for in hope we were saved. Now, hope that sees for itself is not hope, for who hopes for what one sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance. I think that Ridge did a great job of talking about the mixed emotions that you feel on a day of a high school graduation. There's great sense of accomplishment and pride, but also a little bit of uncertainty about what comes next, about what is the unseen. I think your teachers, your administrators, parents, grandparents, and loved ones here today will agree with me that there are many things that they could not possibly have imagined in their future lives when they were sitting at their high school graduation. I am certainly no different. Now, the popular thing to do on social media is to talk about all the things you wish you'd known in high school. I'm gonna tell you a few things I'm glad I didn't know when I was sitting where you are today about my future, sitting at my high school graduation over 40 years ago. One, I am glad that in 1983, I did not know that it would be until 2004 that the Red Sox would finally break the curse and win the World Series. I'm glad that I didn't know I would become the first woman to win a seat in the state legislature from my county, or the first woman to serve our Commonwealth as governor, and the first in the nation to give birth to twins. So let's start with the Red Sox. I suspect that most of you soon-to-be graduates have grown up expecting the Red Sox to be good. and to believe they can win a World Series. I also have a feeling, let's have a show of hands. Do you think having a team in the Super Bowl is a birthright? In Boston, also known as Titletown, obviously has days where sequencing a Bruins and a Celtics playoff game at the Garden is the norm, right? Well, I did come of age in the Larry Bird era. I hope you all know who he is. So I have zero complaints on the hoops front. But I come from a Red Sox family, and most of my childhood summers are defined by Red Sox games on the radio at night. Yes, this is before satellite TV and cable, followed by fall nights of bitter disappointment and wait till next year. So why am I glad that I didn't know 20 years sooner about the imminent breaking of the curse, and what does that have to do with lessons about heading into the unseen? Well, the practical answer is that I spent many beautiful days and nights over those intervening 21 years watching, cheering, hoping. I know where I was, a fraternity house at my college in Connecticut when the ball went through Buckner's legs, and where I was on that unbelievably special night, home with my husband, who also, of course, came from a rabid Red Sox family, when they finally broke the curse. That night in 2004 would never have been as memorable, certainly without 1987 and all the other feudal years. And maybe I wouldn't have been as emotionally invested each year if I knew victory was imminent. But the other lesson that I've taken from the many years of Red Sox futility is a leadership lesson. The truth is, to be the best and to perform at the highest level requires a lot of things to go right. In baseball, in sports, in politics, in private sector leadership, and in life. You need the right players, you need the right team. You certainly need the right game plan or the right strategy. You absolutely need to execute. But often, sometimes, and this is the scary part, you need a little bit of luck. That is one of the hardest things to embrace about the future, about leadership, and about life. Sometimes you can do everything right, but your luck is not there. So I'm also glad I didn't know about my future political success when I was sitting in your seat. Now, why is that? Well, first, I'm not sure I would have believed it. I'm certain many of my fellow students sitting around me wouldn't believe it. I also might have chickened out. Second, even though I just told you that luck matters, I'm convinced hard work matters more. Well, I don't discount that I had some very lucky breaks in my path to political success. I also had some unlucky ones, by the way. Two things brought me success in politics and the private sector. One, assembling terrific teams, and two, working really hard. What I found about the combination of great teams working together is that if you're working toward a shared goal, something of passion, with purpose, it's meaningful to you, the work itself and the path to it can be a lot of fun. But I've also had some really long, discouraging days. And if someone had told me where I would end up, I might have taken shortcuts knowing I was going to get there anyway. And, well, being a state senator and a governor was not something I could see when I was sitting in your seat. Once I decided to take on those challenges, I put everything I had into making those goals a reality. And I know that it was my hard work, inspired by those who joined my efforts, that led primarily to my success. There are a few other things I'm glad I didn't know when I was sitting there. I'm glad I didn't know that I'd never be thin, that I'd never know all the words to any of the songs that I love, and that I'd end up living most of the rest of my life living 6 miles from where I grew up. Knowing those things definitely would have depressed me at my high school graduation. They kind of depress me today. Today, I still sing my favorite songs at the top of my lungs Usually I did it on the way here. Pretended I was warming up my vocal cords. Usually still making up the words I don't know or mumbling them. It actually took the invention of Google for me to know what Manfred Mann's Earth Band was saying after Blinded by the Light. Many of you also don't know what comes after that, and because of the priests who are here, I'm not going to say what I thought they were saying after that. Now, there's no doubt when that song or any other one is played on Sirius XM's 80s channel, yes, I told you I'm old, it will bring me joy. And even though it annoys my children as much as it annoyed my siblings, I'll continue to sing at the top of my lungs, and maybe someday I'll have enough time to memorize lyrics to songs I love, maybe not. But the other piece that would have depressed me back then and turned out to be completely wrong was a belief that staying in my hometown would not have led me to find a life of purpose and passion that would have meant so much to me. I grew up and still live a few miles away in the smallest city in Massachusetts. Most people from the Boston area don't even believe it's Massachusetts. Most teenagers who lived there 40 years ago, 60 years ago, and who live there today think it's a boring place. They can't wait to get out of town, and I was no different. When I was sitting there counting the days until I would go off to college, if you had told me that I'd end up living, working, raising my children 6 miles from the house that I grew up in, where, by the way, my mom still lives today, well, I would have decided my life was destined to be a complete and huge failure. There's no way, as a senior in high school, I could have seen the exciting, rewarding life that I would live 6 miles from that house. Having a vast, unseen future with all the promise that my hard work, determination, sense of purpose and passion could create would never, on that moment, have sketched as awesome a 40 years as the life of service and leadership that I've been given. Yet, if I'd been told it would have unfolded around my hometown, I might have been discouraged and determined to seek a different path due to childish priorities. What I couldn't see in 1983 provided me with amazing opportunities due to hard work, due to pursuing my passion, hours of joy, yes, some disappointment, but I hope work in service of my community and of God. So my message to you all today is to embrace that unseen future. Whatever happens, make sure you take it on with joy, with hope. The future that awaits you, yes, with endurance, although I promise you 40 years goes very fast, is something that I know Boston College High School has prepared you so well to tackle. If you live your lives aligned with the mission of Boston College High School, finding hope and a future filled with purpose and passion seems assured. Be a leader of competence, conscience, and compassion, and seek to do all things for the greater glory of God. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Governor Swift, for those powerful words. Class of 2024, we now turn our full attention to you. I will now call the roll of the class of 2024 for the conferral of diplomas. Scholars of the class of 2024, please follow the directions of the ushers to make your way to the stage. You'll proceed to the stage from the outside aisle, collect your diploma, pause for a photo, and return to your seat down the center aisle. Please, everyone, hold your applause until the end so that all names may be heard. Edward Adams. Christopher Afonso. Please hold your applause until the end. Tassan Alam. Kevin Antonio Almanzar. Shep Duran Alstrom. Mason Patrick Alves. Amari Andrade. Josiah A. Andrade. Pedro Macedo Araujo. Robert Atkinson. Khan John Avsakert. Pablo E. Avila. Gabriel Andre Aviles Limus. Alexander C. Baird. Tyler Hamilton Balthazar. Jalen Nelson Barros. Maximilian Otto Bean Tierney. Chase Vincent Bell. Ambrosio Carlo Maria Bellotti. William Nathaniel Benson. Ruben Alejandro Berganza. Jacob Eric Bierenbrunspot. Lucas Patrick Bengelli. Richney Dave Blaze. Gabriel Boecker. Alexander Bohane. Andrew Richard Boucher. Caleb Loring Boucher. Christopher Ian Bryce. Daniel Charles Bushley. Kevin Guabin Kai. Jeffrey J. Campbell. Isaac Campolongo. Noah Umberto Carletti. Michael Cahill Carr. Jamari Joseph Carvalho. Daniel Catano. Dominic Fiore Chalai. Ben Chen. Howen Chen. Odera Chibuzo Chibueze. Luciano Vincenzo Sincati. Patrick Sincati. Daniel Corkery Civello. Mason A. Cleary. Matthew Jeremiah Collins. James F. Conley. Thomas Xavier Conley. Finn Joseph Keneally. Nathan Cordaro. Casey M. Corkery. Abraham Nathaniel Granville Crane. Robert Declan Scout Cunningham. Jackson T. M. D'Ambrosio. Thomas Demosthenes Dasco. Devin Joseph Deere. Sean Carney Delory. Sean Joseph DiNapoli. Adam G. DeRico. Andrew Joseph DeHarness. James Brian Desmond. Daniel Dezume. Del J. DeBona. Charles Edmund Donovan. Jack Richmond Dooley. Sean Carney Driscoll. Cameron John Dunn. Liam Christian Enright. Matthew Harold Escobar Cedeno. Ryan Sullivan Esfahanian. Erwin Esteban. Liam Thomas Evans. Matthew James Farrell. Charles George Richmond Fearing. Jack Kelly Feinberg. Aaron Patricius Jude Fernandez. Connor Forster Flaherty. Gavin Thomas Flaherty. Jaden Henry Flaherty. Christian Michael Fleming. Michael Vincent Foley. Peter Anthony Foley Jr. John Ignatius Ford. Michael P. Frawley. Gregory Anderson Gabellis. Kevin Timothy Galius. Samuel Gabriel Galette. Connor Bowen Gallagher. Maxwell Cyril Galvin. Andrew Rowe Gorelick. John Francis Geary. Damian Gishohi. Brendan Goldner. Sean Carlos Montero Gomes. Christian Joseph Gonzalez. Maxwell Averill Gravellisi. James Thomas Greer. Killian Andrew Griffin. Yuchen Johnny Gu. Jaden R. G. Guzman. Thomas Michael Halloran. Ronan Michael Halpin. Chase Griffin Hansen. Tyler Levi Harris. William Craig Hartford. Lachlan Robert Hartshorn. Liam Matthew Heffernan. Carlos Ismael Henriquez Jr. Joandri Antonio Herrera. Ethan D. Polson. Luke Wayland Hugo. Matthew Joseph Hunt. Connor Craig Ingram. Fidel H. Jafar. Owen Martin J. Matthew Ryan Jordan. Liam Gabriel Callan. Grayson Happy Kamadu. Charles K. Carongo. Connor Keegan. Samuel Edward Keene. John Joseph Kelly IV. Ronan Gregory Kelly. Chase Edward Kelly. Maxwell James Kelly. Hayes David Kennedy. Samuel Frederick Kessler. Michael John Kester. Zain Ramat Khan. Nevin S. Kingsview. Liam Curran Kineen. Matthew James Kerwin. Thomas Michael Kubera. Stephen D. Labrador Jr. Kieran Liangdong Lemay. Brady Alexander Lane. Christopher Arthur Leonard. Luke Paul Leung. Michael Lee. Ryan Lee. Daniel Collins Linehan. Oscar Loeb. Connor Michael Lynch. Matthew Robert Medeiros. Vasily Mantrov. Anthony Joseph Martindale. Alexander Joseph Matheny. Gregory Robert Matthews. Derek John Maxim. Charles Tyler McCullough. Daniel John McEnany. John Patrick McGath. Daniel J. McGee. Dylan Scott McGillicuddy. Michael Gerard McIntyre. Jude Francis McLaughlin. Gavin Thomas McNichol. Aiden Joseph McNulty. Jonathan Adrian Mejia Kajay. Aiden Matthew Mylan. Aria David Mogtatter. Christopher Hardy Mondesier. Carlos A. Morales. Daniel Philip Moylan. Griffin Tyler Mazinski. Colin Brendan Murphy. Nolan Richard Murphy. William Edward Murray. Atharva Naik. Benjamin T. Nguyen. Devin Hai Nguyen. Ridge M. Noel Saint. Elias Philip Navina. Owen Hamilton Oates. Finian J. Oatway. Kian M. O'Callahan. Owen Michael O'Connor. Ahmed Isaac Omo. Coleman Lawrence O'Reilly. Alvin Ortiz. Jacob Richard Padula. Alessandro Peter Parisi. Mark David Parsons. Lucas Samuel Patel. Tristan Jerome Pesevich. Neil Jeffrey Petrillo. Paul Tyler Pierre. Sebastian Armando Pina Medina. Joseph Martin Murphy Polis. Lorenzo Benvenuti Posamai. Cameron Christopher Prudente. Tristan Min Quach. Jesse A. Madrid Ramos. John Barry Reardon. Sean Richard Renahan. Mateo Rafael Reyes. Marshall Thomas Rice. Tristan James Richardson. Victor Franca Rocha. Remington Joseph Rakashevsky. Brian William Rosa. Christopher Saba. Christian J. Salvador. Roberto Vidal Sampaio. Nolan Vincent Sharippa. Derek E. Scoot Flynn. Bernat Sepulcre. Elliot G. Shaw. Nathan Patrick Sheehan. Tyler James Sheehan. James Christoph Shriver. Zachary John Silverio. Tucker D. Smith. Xavier Sean Smith. Matthew Kenneth Snell. Colby Campbell Suter. Malik Christopher Spallis. Calvin Michael Spear. John Anthony Spinelli III. Aiden Eugene Stambulski. Luke William Steele. Timothy Michael Sterling. Max Thomas Stevens. Michael Connor Sullivan. Christopher John Simond. Anas Tabak. Ahmad Ali Tahir. Sal Jr. Texera. Jack Douglas Tisdale. Brandon Nguyen Tan. Enrique Toronzo. Simon Felipe Tugas Pacheco. Javen Manuel Trammell. John Patrick Turner. Diego Velasquez Sosa. William W. Vermette. Eric Gregory Voyancy. Samuel Waxman. Owen Tucker Welsh. Benjamin Logan Wheeler. Frederick E. Willard. David Paul Williams, Jr. Deacon Gregory Woodgate. Cedric Jackson Wysocki. Ronnie Eddie Yasmin. Ivan Calvin Yambi. Alexander Z. Yoon. Hanwen Zhang. Thomas Joseph Zerpolo. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our official graduates of the class of 2024. I now will turn the podium over to our principal, Mr. Adam Lewis.
Good morning, Governor Swift, President Regan, Miss June Maddie on behalf of the Board of Trustees, colleagues, parents, families, guests, most importantly, our men of BC High, the class of 2024. You did not have your freshman convocation in September 2020. It was not possible to bring you all together, obviously. When I speak with the freshman groups, I share with them two messages. They are messages you have heard from me over your time here, and I want to remind you of them again as you leave us today. The first is this: you have been given the gift of a BC High education, a Jesuit formation. It is a privilege. With this privilege comes enormous responsibility. This responsibility does not end today, quite the opposite. As Ridge reminded us earlier, in a way, it actually begins today. As the product of a Jesuit institution, you have the responsibility to lead. It is not a choice. The privilege of a Jesuit formation is paradoxical, in that the privilege does not give you the choice when it comes to leadership. It is a moral imperative. And you have the responsibility to ensure that this leadership is marked by integrity, compassion, humility, commitment, and above all, love. The second message I would have shared at your freshman convocation is this: this is your school. It always will be. I would have challenged you over the next 4 years to take on the responsibility to make it better, to leave it in a better place than you found it. The only way you could have done this is by bringing in your open individual and collective heart to the building each day, being open to having your heart moved, the essence of Ignatian discernment, and then having the courage to move on it to act. This is the very theme you gave us this year as a senior class: conscience, compassion, community. I love this theme and the challenge you gave us. It starts inside and works out, as leadership should in our context. It starts with conscience, the heart work, the work of the interior, the hardest work, and then calls us to be driven from that place into action. And even though you did not hear that message as freshmen, this is how you have led us. This is how you have made us better. You have left your school in a better place than where you found it. As your principal, I want to express my deep gratitude for this. You have shaped our BC High story. You have made us better through your presence and the gifts of not just who you are, but how you are, to use the words of Father John O'Malley. You have listened and watched for these gifts in each other. Indeed, I hope you continue to live a life beyond BC High looking for the gifts in others. For this is how we have formed you to lead, with sincerity and humility. Keep up your habits of prayer and reflection. Examine the movements of your heart daily. Have the courage to ask hard questions of your interior self. Let this be the starting point for how you live, lead, and love, things we never separate. Your Jesuit formation and faith has called you to companionship with each other, with Ignatius, and above all invites response to the call of Jesus to be his disciples in our world. On behalf of our BC High faculty and staff, please know that we feel blessed to have been able to accompany you on your journey. I pray that you will be gentle, beautiful man of depth and faith, and always see and feel God's presence in all that you do, in all that you are, and all that you will become. We will miss you, we love you, and we are so proud of you. Thank you. It is a pleasure to introduce our graduation speaker, Danny Moylan. Danny Moylan has a genuine depth of optimism, brilliance, compassion, and an uncanny sense of humour. His capacity to empathise, humanise, and withhold all judgment has made him one of the most cherished members of our community. His warmth, consistent smile, authentic curiosity earned him the respect of his head of house, who appointed him as vice captain in Gonzaga this year. His partnership with two peers led to research that became the cornerstone of conversations about sustainability for our Board of Trustees. Danny's commitment to justice earned him a Begley Scholar Research Grant this past year, where he researched the topic of food insecurity in Boston suburbs and presented his findings to students and faculty. Danny is enlightening, optimistic, and grounded in incredible mastery of any topic that arises. He loves to learn. His 4.4 GPA is one of the highest in the class. He's a National Merit Commended Scholar, earned the Seal of Biliteracy for Spanish, earned a score of 5 on the AP World History, AP English, Literature and Composition, AP Calc AB, and AP US History exams. He's pretty brilliant. In Jesuit schools, we sometimes talk, and this is the stuff that matters to Danny. In Jesuit schools, we sometimes talk about forming our students to be contemplatives in action. You heard President Reagan talk about it earlier. We hope to graduate young men who are reflective, discerning, and act towards a more just world. Danny Moylan is a fully formed contemplative in action. Loving, brilliant, determined to work toward a better human experience. He is truly exceptional. When we were selecting a speaker, I said that in 22 years of working in Jesuit schools across the globe, Danny is the most impressive student that I have ever encountered. Please welcome Danny Moylan.
Good morning, students, parents, family, faculty and staff, and the entire BCI community. My name is Danny Moylan, a member of Gonzaga House. I'd like to first acknowledge administrators that have given me the opportunity to stand up here on this just beautiful sunny day to send you off. To Mr. Lewis, President Regan, Mrs. MacDonald, Ms. Manning, and Ms. Carter, thank you for believing in me. Governor Swift, thank you for your words of inspiration. Of course, I can't acknowledge that my and Jack Ruden's speeches were given to us probably out of spite from administration, since we've been pestering them for environmental data for the last 2 years. I'd also like to acknowledge the parents and caretakers who've gotten us to this point, the last event of our last year at BC High. For those who are in the audience, those who could not make it, and for those who are looking down on us from above. The sacrifices that our parents have made cannot be overlooked. From covering the tuition payments to the rides when the Greenbush line was canceled, the parents do deserve a diploma for helping us navigate our way through these hallways. Parents, college is well known to be much cheaper than BC High, so the gift of graduation can hopefully give you a break on the monthly education payments. Whether we express our gratitude or not, though, I would like to say a collective thank you. To the teachers, I am sorry, teachers. I wish that we could say we paid attention these past few months, but, you know, AP Gov and fourth quarter of senior year work together about as well as Congress does at the moment. But I can save the politics for Political Discussions Club. In all seriousness, though, the teachers really do make BC High the institution that it is. It's your endless dedication to the young men in your classes that leave an unforgettable impact upon all of our minds. Academically, socially, and in fostering a community, the teachers do deserve the world. I'll talk a bit about my experience, but every student could come up here to the mic and talk about connections that they've made with teachers. It all transcends what would be possible at a traditional high school. Teachers, because of your commitment to Cura Personalis, we can all walk off the stage better than when we first saw the name Boston College High School. In that spirit, I would like to give a personal shout out to 2 teachers, neither of which ever taught me in a class, Miss Gorliss and Miss Delaney. Both of you, while having to put up with Jack Ruden and Will Hartford, fostered places where I felt safe. I fondly remember the afternoons spent in Romero House with Miss Gorliss, a group of non-Romeroans and I, laughing until the cleaning crew kicked us out. Miss Delaney, your love of community has fostered an environment where you can find students doing homework, a couch for my friends messing around, an impromptu volleyball game, and of course, Luke Hugo fixed next to your desk in just 100 square feet. I cannot overstate how you both have played such an impactful role in my life, and I know that all 249 students in the crowd have a teacher like this for you. To all my fellow graduates, I am in a tough spot up here. I am the last thing between you and attending your grad parties, and I can already sense your eagerness for me to hurry this up. Weather, not a factor. I'm not sure if it's a BC High event if Lachlan Hartshorn doesn't fall asleep, but the rest of you are not off the hook yet. That being said, though, I'll try to keep this as brief as possible so we can all enjoy this weather. Since you're my captive audience for the next few minutes, though, I'll let you get to know me a bit. I am the type of person that always seeks change. I want to change my hair. I want to move houses. I want my grades to go up and my stress to go down. I've lived a collection of the lives of those around me. And yes, it feels like every time I speak to Max Gravelisi, my vocabulary becomes more like his. It was in this spirit of change that inspired me to do the St. Louis Project in my sophomore year, going on weekly excursions into Boston to help hand out care packages to the people experiencing homelessness. For just 1 hour every week, I saw what it was like to be forgotten. Every person that walked by noticed our work, yet when we were gone, our friends on the streets became invisible. Despite what they thought, though, the bags were not the mission. Yes, they provided socks and hand warmers and Miss Winter's homemade cookies, but they also provided a genuine compassion. For an hour a week, we gave people love. For just an hour a week, our friends on the streets heard their own names, likely for the first time in days. For an hour a week, I was able to see that every change in my life paled in comparison to the change that would be needed for society to dignitize the human being in front of me. It seemed monumental and it seemed impossible, until I realized we had already changed the lives of those we served. The community of people living without housing in and around Downtown Crossing began to wait for us on Thursday afternoons, as I soon saw we had our regulars. Jenny, who had just given birth to her son Richard, Muhammad, who was sweet and soft-spoken, the traveler, who always had people to see and reconnect with. Slowly, we saw immense change. Jenny got a job in childcare. The traveler found permanent government housing. People came and went, but their stories were the one constant they carried with them. What the St. Louis Project showed me, though, is that true change comes slowly. It defined who I am and gave me drive to achieve actual change that means something more than just a new haircut. And when I look at the class of 2024, I see a group of people that are ready to change the world. High school graduation is weird and uncharted. A lot of us, while knowing what next year's plans hold, don't know where we'll be in 10 years. I know that I don't. So I won't give you advice on an event I haven't yet experienced. Instead, let's look back on our time together at BC High. Parents, do you remember when your son first stepped foot on the train? Whether in 7th or 9th grade or as a transfer student, I imagine all parents in the audience can attest to their fear of the unknown, of how high school would treat the child they had spent the previous decade and a half preparing. We began high school in 3 cohorts, as COVID restrictions were still in place. Yeah, I know, that was 4 years ago, but I think I'm the final speaker up here who can milk a COVID story. Our freshman year was introduced with the Black at BC High Instagram account, detailing the stories of people in our community who had faced racial discrimination. We also oversaw the work that BC High did to confront and challenge these truths, spending years on workshops and events to work towards anti-racism. We were juniors at the introduction of the house system, a new system spearheaded by Mr. Lewis to ensure no students slip between the cracks. I admit I was originally a skeptic, but I think I confidently speak on behalf of the entire student body when I say it's been a resounding success. We saw 3 different schedules over 4 years, the timing of our activity block somehow changing with each one. And through all of this, we thrived. For a lot of us, our time at BC High began all the way back in 7th grade. In 2018, which seems so long ago, we were the middle schoolers. BC High started to form us as men 6 years ago. In Arupe, we made new friends, we navigated the train, and of course tried new activities. Like how when I was in 8th grade, I tried out to play football. I really don't know why I did this. I am not coordinated or agile or strong at all. And I know you're thinking, this athletic guy must be saying this to be humble. And I am incredibly humble, but I'm not lying when I say that I was bad. After a week of practicing, Coach Hernandez came up to me and said that today I'd practice with the 7th graders, and then the next, until I was officially with the ranks of the youngest kids in the school. And yet somehow, even amongst the 7th graders, I was still the worst. I would get maybe a quarter of playing time each game, and I'm pretty sure it was because of some MIAA regulation that said I had to. We played and lost, until one of our last games of the season against Xaverian. Miraculously, and I cannot stress this enough, due to none of my skills, we won the game. I cannot overstate just how excited the entire team was. Our first and subsequent only victory of the entire season. Now, I've been involved with a lot of activities at BC High. I've had my fair share of wins, whether in clubs or academics or arguments. But I think that in my entire time at BC High, I felt most victorious on the sidelines of Westwood as we all cheered for the win that had been such a long time coming. All of our work, the months of practice, and my awkward not knowing who to tackle stances had paid off. But what this really bad football team gave me was a community for the first time in my life. I still believe that being a part of a community is the most important thing that you can do. The win wasn't meaningful because we destroyed them or because it was the Super Bowl, but because we saw each other fail and now we had won. Class of 2024, you have probably seen every one of your friends fail. Yet, right now, we are united. No longer physically in the same building, but we are united through our shared experiences. When we leave the stage and the grad parties are over, we still have this community. We will forever be BC High's class of 2024. I want to call all of you to cheer when our class has victories. This doesn't mean the future lawyers have to defend a client because they're a BCI grad, but be present. support each other when we fail. This camaraderie is a responsibility, and it is also an honor. We have inherited the city of Boston because it's the alumni of our school who change it for the better. We have a moral responsibility to do so. Regardless of where our futures take us, remember that we must use our skills for good. Money is exciting, power even more so, but both of these are dangerous. People have the incredible ability to forget where they came from when they move on to a new stage of life. I implore all of you to remember what it was like at BC High. Remember the retreats that you went on. Remember how you felt during your junior service, the agony of writing the JTP in the soup, the victories of your 8th grade football team. Remember when you showed compassion and always try to replicate it for those less fortunate than you. Love is so hard to learn and so easy to forget. BC High has prepared us with a foundation, an education based on love. As any muscle or skill, we cannot abandon love while expecting to reap its benefits. Love endlessly and love everyone. This is what I'm confident every single graduate here has the capacity to do. To be loved is to be changed. BC High has changed us all. It is now our duty to change the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danny. That was beautiful. I now ask the Reverend John Predmore, S.J., who is our faculty, staff, and parent chaplain, to send our graduates forward with a benediction. Please stand.
Dear graduates of 2024, it's fitting that we gather here today in a moment punctuated by prayer. Your last moment at BC High is a prayer. When you first stepped on campus, we celebrated the Spirit's presence and the Mass of the Holy Spirit. And now we are sent forth by the Spirit on this feast of Pentecost. The Spirit has been at work in you even when you may not have noticed. Thank you for walking with us in your journey of faith. We hope you leave us with the same affection we have for you. But allow us to pray for you one last time. And so my parents, friends, I ask you to place your hand over your heart as we entrust our graduates to the Lord. Or if you're around your graduate, place a hand on their shoulders. And let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Good and generous God, you are the God of superabundance and excess. Bless the good work you have begun in these holy and righteous men, assisting them to persevere with courage, energy, and zeal for your sake. They have experienced how you break through their barriers constantly, push them beyond their limits, expand their souls with your superabundance. Help them to remain open to your invitations, to be adaptable to change, to move forward patiently, knowing that your promise unfolds gently in the future. At Pentecost, you send forth your Spirit to pour out extravagant grace and the gift of excess upon us. Help them to receive your comforting guidance that has been modeled through their parents, their teachers, their priests, and their families. You are the God who never holds back, the God who forgives and reconciles even before a confession is made, the God of unrivaled hospitality, the God who embraces in compassion, the God who blesses with mercy which we do not deserve, the God who is overflowing presence of goodness. You are the God of today and the God of the future. Help our graduates embrace their future, knowing that you will always remain by their side. And we ask you to send these graduates forth to spoil them rotten with your radical goodness. And so, loving Creator God, we ask you to bless these men, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Alleluia, alleluia.
Thank you, Father, and thank you all for attending today's ceremony and for joining us to collectively celebrate the class of 2024. Boys, you may think you have escaped us, but we ask that you come back at least one last time to return your gorgeous tuxedos to McNeese on Monday between 9 and 1. Above all, please remember you are loved as you go forth to bring good into the world. This, the 160th commencement of Boston College High School, is now concluded. God bless and thank you all.